Hey guys, so this video I'm going to be reviewing Arrow 110 titled Burn. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe for new, turn notifications on. Let's get right into the review. So, it opened up with a building that's on fire. There's the fire department's on scene. There's a firefighter on the upper level of the building, and a person pretending to be a firefighter, or on some level pretends to, throws like some kind of liquid on him, and it manages to burn him alive, and the firefighter dies in the fire. It goes to the bunker with Oliver training and having flashbacks to being beaten by the Dark Archer. Oliver and Dig know Walter's missing, and Dig has 0 leads on him, and it's been 6 weeks in between 109 and 110. So obviously when Oliver got beaten and to where we're at now, it's been 6 weeks. Oliver wants to be there for his family with Walter missing. It was a Lian Yu, continuing where it left off. I didn't really care about the Lian Yu scene this episode, so I'm not really going to be talking about it much. But it was just a reshot of the scene we got in 109. Wasn't much. We got some more scenes too, but again, I didn't really care about it, so I might not talk about it much. That's why. It goes to present day with Quentin going to Laurel's work to talk to her friend Joe, or Joanne, because her brother Danny was a firefighter that was killed in the beginning of the episode in the fire, which is the previous night to that scene. Moira is looking at a picture of her and Walter, because obviously she knows that he's missing, as is Sia. Oliver goes to check on her. Walter was able to take Moira's mind off of Robert and Oliver missing. Obviously, no one's really there to do that now. So Thea thinks Walter wasn't kidnapped, just left due to the midlife crisis things and wanted to deal with it on his own. Because no one really knows he was taken. There's no, demands, there's no proof of life or anything like that. Oliver is assuming that Walter's dead because of that. Because he thinks he knows who took him on some level. They don't really say that he knew who. He has suspicions of it. There's a news report about the man in the hood being a positive influence, and now that he hasn't been around for the past 6 weeks, it's different, which shows that Oliver hasn't really been vigilanteing since he got beaten, which makes sense because he did have to heal, because he was on a cane, if you remember that, and he got shot in the back like twice. So, and it was the equivalent of getting hit to a semi-truck on a bike. Now, I don't know what that's like, and I never want to know what that's like, but that has to freaking hurt. So, and he is human. He's not like the Flash that can speed heal. We're dealing with a human being that needs time to heal, and that probably took like 6 weeks, or probably 5 weeks to be honest. Then it goes to Joe, or Joanne, Laurel's friend, whose brother died. Came to see Laurel and Tommy at her apartment, and she thinks what happened to her brother wasn't an accident and that he was murdered. And she's been digging deep into the case of her brother's death, and he was burned alive, and the temperature on him was actually hotter than the actual fire. So, which is interesting, because he is a firefighter. The gear they have on is protect him from that. But the fact that he was able to burn to death is what's shocking here, at least in this murder. But nonetheless, Quentin tried getting anything off the phone the Vigilante gave him last episode in 109. The only prints on it are Quentin's and the tech's military grade, so there's no track in this thing. So Oliver did a good job in making sure that couldn't happen. Quentin told Laurel the phone is connected directly to the Vigilante, so Laurel takes it to contact the Vigilante. He goes to Laurel's apartment. Laurel fills him in on what's happened. Oliver comes back. Dig is training, and he agrees to help look into the fire murders. Oliver doesn't want anything related. Doesn't want anything related to the fires at all. If Dig finds anything, he told him to tell the police department, and that's it. Tommy was upstairs above the bunker where they're putting the club, arguing with their contractor. And Tommy comes to the idea to throw a fundraiser for the fire department to raise money for the families. Laurel tries to get Joe to go home to her family. Quinn goes to see Laurel about the phone because she took it and he knew it. But Laurel told Quinn that the vigilante took the phone back and that she gave him the phone back. Well, that's not true. He never took it. Mario is talking to a guy about the company possibly going into danger and the CEO for the second time going missing, which is dangerous for the company. She was talking to Ned Foster, the COO of the company, who wants Moira to take Walter's place as CEO of the company, but she doesn't want to. So then it goes to Dig getting Oliver after Moira left the room. Dig comes in, Thea and Oliver having a small conversation. Dig comes in, tells Oliver he's late for their dentist appointment, so they leave. Dig tells Oliver that they got a location and that his gear's in the car. He wants him to suit up. Oliver's not really sure. He's still kind of afraid to. But he goes anyways because people will die if he doesn't. So the fake firefighter, there was fire crew on scene. One firefighter, I'm assuming, was on the upper level again. And the fake firefighter, came in and dangled him off a ledge. And then Oliver comes in and he's not taking any risks. He's being super careful, which is something that throughout the first 9 episodes, we haven't seen Oliver doing, right? We saw him just jump from a ledge to a very narrow, well, not narrow, I shouldn't say narrow, to a very close edge when he could have made that drop and saved that firefighter, but he chose not to. Instead, he traveled along the rafters to a pole-ish and then slid down to fight him, and by then, the fake firefighter dropped the actual firefighter into the fire and he died. So you could tell that Oliver was off in this scene and that he was just afraid. Because again, compared to the last episodes, we would have seen Oliver just straight up jump off that edge onto the platform, save the firefighter, stop the guy, it would have been it. But because he's afraid, because he's scared, he took the safe route, and in which case ended with that firefighter dieting. Dieting, everyone. The firefighter's on a diet. He died. God, dieting. Then it goes to the bunker. The guy got away, by the way. Oliver got caught off guard, obviously. And Oliver's beating himself up, sitting alone in the bunker, brooding. Oliver calls Laura's vigilante and tells her what he knows, and then tells her to get the cops on it, and, he's not going to do anything about it. Dig goes to see Oliver. Dig knows Oliver is 100% back. Dig tries to tell Oliver that the Dark Archer defeating him got into his head. Tommy texted Oliver. Oliver goes to the fire department and runs into Laurel. They talk about Tommy. Now, Oliver was there to make sure the guests for the fundraiser were all going to be there, and, the visitor lets know that was good. There were 8 firemen in the picture with 4 of the men that are dead. So this guy that's killing the firefighters are targeting this one crew of 8 men. But the 3 died within the last 6 weeks. One died, I'm assuming, 6 weeks ago. The one died 2 nights ago at this point in time. And then the one died when Oliver showed up. So we're doing 3 dead firefighters, and the 4th one was Garfield Lynns, who died 2 years ago in the Nodell Tower tragedy. And then Oliver came back and asked what that was. Thank you, Oliver, because no one had no idea what the hell that was. And the Nodell Tower had a gas line blow up, and it caused a massive fire. 34 civilians died, and 6 firefighters. And it was someone on the one guy's crew, but not the 8-men crew, I think, right? It was a different crew that was in there. But Garfield Lynns was in that fire, and he was supposedly died that day. Laurel won't tell Oliver what is fully going on after they leave. But then Laurel tries to call the vigilante, and Oliver realizes that, so he walks away from her because he's going to get the phone call. And he tells Laurel that he will handle the killer. and then hangs up. It goes to Thea talking to Moira, tries to get Moira out of the house, tells her that she needs to start acting like Thea's mother and not, just not caring about anything. Dig apologizes to Oliver for pushing too hard. Oliver brings up he's been brought to death several times but never feared it because he had nothing to lose. When the Dark Archer nearly killed him, he was horrified of the people close to him, how hurt they would be if he died. Like Laurel, Moira, Thea, Tommy. Those are 4 people, and Dig also, you would assume. Those are 5 people right there that are close to Oliver and are happy that he's back, but would be just broken if he died during this. Let alone if they found out he was a vigilante, it'd just be more heartbreaking for them. Dig tells Oliver the people close to him makes him fight much harder. Oliver thinks Garfield Lynns didn't actually die in the Nodell Tower blaze in that explosion and in the fire, and that he actually used that to fake his own death to be doing what he's doing right now. Then it goes to the fire department fundraiser just right above the bunker, and Laurel arrived. Oliver confronts one of the firefighters he had talked to earlier with Laurel and the fire department, and he takes Laurel with him, and the guy feels like he's being interrogated, and Garfield Lynns didn't want to leave the Nodell Tower's fire, and he blamed himself for his death. And then we see Garfield Lynns at the fundraiser at the club. So Lynns sets the guy with the same stuff he used on Danny and the other firefighters. Oliver runs down to the basement after Laurel got out of the place to suit up, and Dig saw him go. Laurel told Tommy Oliver's still inside, and there's debris falling that they didn't get entirely clipped by it, but they almost did. Lynns was pulled from the wreckage of the tower and listed as a John Doe, which is just a random name. Things like the Joker, if you know that story, or like, if you know the Arkham games pretty well, Jason Todd, when he was at Arkham Asylum, he was listed as John Doe. They use that for people they don't recognize, or to throw people off, like the Joker did for Jason Todd. But in general cases, they don't know someone's name. It's John Doe. You should know what John Doe is, but if you don't, that's what it is. He was in a coma for months. Oliver shows up as a vigilante, saves the firefighter, has his confidence back on some level, offers to get Lynns help, but he doesn't want it, so he sets himself on fire and he dies. It's pretty anticlimactic. That's all I gotta say about that. It goes in the news with Oliver and Thea in the mansion. The news reporter saying that the vigilante is a hero. And that's an act of a hero, not an act of a criminal or a vigilante. Moira is taking Walter's position in the office. Thea changed her mind on that position. Moira said she'll be at dinner with Oliver and Thea. Joe's leaving for a few months. Her mom isn't taking it easy. So Joe gives Laurel her brother's badge. And Joe's mom and Joe want the badge given to the vigilante so she gave it to Laurel to give it to him. We didn't actually see that episode. I don't know if they will in 111. I don't know, though. Maybe. Quinn wishes Joe well, and then Quinn apologizes to Laurel. He tells her it's good she contacted him, and he knew the vigilante didn't take the phone off her. So then Laurel gives Quentin the phone back, and then Quentin thinks about it, and he gives the phone back to Laurel, and says that's good that he can contact him, because there's always something between Danger and her, so if the vigilante can protect her, that's good, and she should keep doing it. Then Quinn, then we go to SCPD, Star City Police Department, with Quinn talking to one of the tech guys, and they brought up that Quinn put a tracker on the phone in the speaker of it, so the next time Laurel and the vigilante talk, they will hear everything. Now, this is on Laurel's end. Now, if it was on Oliver's end, then we have a problem because they would hear Oliver's voice, but it's not. They don't know that there's a voice. Well, they do know, but there's not really anything to connect Oliver to the vigilante at this point, right? The only thing they could really get off this is, like, if they plan a meetup, Quinn could hear that, know that, and then meet the vigilante there and arrest him, possibly. I don't know. That'd be my take on it. The fire didn't spread to the bunker due to the concrete and steel construction under the bunker, which is why the fire didn't spread there. And Oliver's ready to get back out there and get to the people on the list after he wasn't for the last 6 weeks since the Dark Archer defeated him. Overall, it's a pretty good episode. That was the end of the episode, obviously. It was a pretty good episode nonetheless. I did enjoy it. It's definitely not as good as 109, but I think it was a good continuation of 109, seeing the pickup, because obviously Oliver would be broken on some level, right? Because given what he went through that night, not specifically because he faced death, but because he faced death with knowing that there's people that care about him now, and he has stuff to lose. I was kind of expecting this episode to be about that, and I'm glad it was. I'm glad it wasn't dragged out. I'm assuming it wasn't dragged out. We didn't really get a full-on conclusion in this episode. Well, we kind of did, but kind of not. It's like 50-50 in a way. But overall, it's a really good episode. I did enjoy it. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the episode. And thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.